really to get back on topic, you were discussing a few things that made me know inside that when I'm hearing something or when I'm really not hearing but feeling something, then it's God to me. My body telling me, hey, you shouldn't eat that. I feel this certain way when I eat, or if you consume anything that's not good for you, you can feel it. Or if you're around somebody that don't give good energy, something's telling you to move away from that. To me, that's God. So listening to that just made me think about that. Now, for the feminine masculine principle, right now I'm stuck on that because as I'm studying the difference between public and private, you can't help but think about the other half of who we are, meaning the women. Okay, and as I study these things, it all comes back to being in the union in order to grow a family. It takes both. And nowadays it's really hard to talk with the sisters about this particular topic. The first thing that comes about is a religious thing. And then as I think about that, I start to think about the children. How are you educating the children to think differently than what we've been programmed to think? And so, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm trying to see,
Yep.
Are you, what exactly is your question, I guess? I know you kind of
I really don't have a question. Now, I'm just pretty much commenting on the different layers of this life that we live in. And it's like I was saying, it's strictly about if you're studying something. Like I said, I'm studying the difference between public and private. I can study that, but to me, you have to have a foundation. And if you have women that are not thinking on the level of building the foundation to the point to where we're not just going off something that's public, something that's really got no place and we have no control of. So my thing is what do you suggest that we can do about building something or having a better foundation for it as far as the teaching of things?
Well, first and foremost, I feel exactly what you're telling me because I hear this from our brothers who are sincere men, true men, real men who want to be good to a good woman. And I know that there are women out there looking for good men who want to lead a family. They're not women who want to take over and so forth. I know, I see this. Whatever it is that they're promoting out there is BS. It's just for those who are susceptible to the nonsense, who are uneducated and don't know. The first thing that we have to return into the environment between us and our women is trust. Trust that they know that they can actually release and not have to worry about the job that we are doing, which they need for us to do in order for them to be who they need to be for us. The last thing, or the number one thing that feminism removed from men was the trust the trust that our women had. They demonized us and put the 0.01% of men who are violent, and I'm telling you this, 99, 44, 100% of men are not violent and want to hurt and want to destroy and kill off women and beat them into submission. That's nonsense. These are the 1% of the society who was elevated in the media to be the 100% or the 99%. And that demonized the other 99% who had no way wanted to be those or to even be seen as those or would even think of being one of those types of men. And what has happened now is the amount of distrust that feminism wanted to place in our women, and this was a tactical move, by the way, psychological warfare. It's in my book, The Wounded Womb, how it was done. I can't, it takes a little while for me to start explaining it here. It would take too much time. So I would actually just kind of capsule what I'm about to say. Our sisters essentially were programmed to distrust us and to distrust our word, because the environment as well as the resources necessary for us to be integrous with our word was removed from us. The middle management as well as the middle class manufacturing jobs that gave us the ability to start homes and families, because women don't start families, men do. Men are the creators and starters of families. Don't let this nonsense being told to us by this feminized media make you believe that women start families. They don't. Men start families. Men are the ones that structure the environment and have the resources to make sure that the woman is comfortable, she's safe, and she has the ability to raise the future inside an environment that is no longer dangerous. We clear the way for civilization to be. And when you take that away from us, then we move from becoming providers and protectors to predators. And that's exactly what the society who knows what it is and what it takes to be a healthy society, they took that ability from us. When they moved all the manufacturing jobs, back in the days when we did have families, back in the days when we had mothers and fathers in the home, raising families and taking care of our own children, back in those days, we had manufacturing jobs. We had the ability to tell the employers how much we wanted to be paid. We adjusted the so-called cost of living based upon our expertise. But then they knew that if they shipped the middle management jobs as well as the manufacturing jobs that the United States had overseas, that they would definitely maximize the bottom line of their profits and undermine and destroy the strength and communal strength that we had as families. Because families create the strong communities. You understand? Whole families.
Yes, sir.
Men leading, the men protecting and making sure that community stayed there, and the women educating, teaching, nurturing, and giving the love that the children needed. We were undermined and destroyed as men. They attacked us first by first engendering a sense of monumental distrust. And they hired lesbian authors, feminists, and CIA agent. Understand this. Remember, the leader of the feminist movement, or the perceived leaders of the feminist movement, were hired and created by the CIA with funding from Rockefeller. And that's how the feminist movement back in the 60s were actually given the foundation, the media expansion, and the educational expertise. They brought it into the schools with this women's education program, which essentially was nothing but lesbian education. So with that, the distrust grew, because from generation to generation, our children, our young girls were told, don't trust the male, become independent, which is completely against her nature. She is a communal creature. She is not independent. And so now you have this Frankensteinian form of feminine thinking, whereas she is now, based on her monster, the actual monster maker, feminism, she is now got the electrodes in the neck, in the psychospiritual neck of our women. And because the society now has given her the resources to be that independent woman and taken away the resources for us as men to be independent, family structuring men, now it becomes this mass craziness you see out here with our young boys over there twerking and our young boys talking about eating and sucking on dicks and all this kind of crap. That's what happens when the masculine authority in a society dies. And until women see that, and see that the moral and ethical structures of society are upheld by the men, because we know what is necessary to protect our sisters. This is when you see all of this kind of whorish behavior and madness out here, because we don't have control of our communities anymore. The police do. And you know damn well that they're not going to do a damn thing to change what's happening to our men, the faggotizing and the homosexualizing of our young boys. That's part of the structuring of genocide. It's necessary to make sure that the young black male is no longer the potent weapon against white supremacy. So how do you do that? Well, you change him into a woman. Therefore, you do not have that threat anymore, because he's too busy trying to decorate himself like a woman, acting like a woman, playing at being a woman, playing at being his mother, and emulating his mother, who is the primary influence in his home. So when I say to you, beloved brother, Yes.
Don't you think our people are making excuses though? Don't you think that we're making a lot
No,
of
I think the
excuses?
men are making excuses. The men are making
Yes,
excuses.
okay.
The men are
Yeah, I
making
agree.
excuses because we're too busy damn talking instead of organizing and becoming the army we need to oversee. You see, remember, democracy don't work by you asking for anything. You got to demand it, and you got to make noise, and you got to be something of a threat to the system that's in place. The women don't change societies. Men do.
Right.
Women adapt. Women adopt.
Right.
So they don't change. You don't look for Oprah to give you no $1 billion to change society. She's too busy decorating up that ass and trying to get our sisters to follow her. So we don't want our sisters leading us. And until men start saying and choosing women who are ready to be led by a good man. I mean, I'm not talking about no scruffy ass, dumb ass man. I'm not talking about that. And our women ain't got but so many people that are real men to choose from out there. I'm talking about, sisters, if you find yourself a man that you're willing to make mistakes with as he's trying to adjust and help to become the man that he is so he could be the man for you, then you need to stick with that man instead of dealing with this throwaway society like you do your shoes. I'm going to get me a new pair of shoes because my feeling and my attitude has changed. No, we need stick to it. You find a good man, you stick with him, you work with him because he already got 2 strikes against him when he walks up to that plate with that bat. Okay? So until you find yourself a good woman who's willing to work with you as your wife, not no partner, you don't need no roommate. You don't need no equal person in your house. You need a wife. You need to be married. We need to be promoting marriage. And take these women out of these clubs where they're over there whoring and scoring and hoping that the right one will come along one day. That's all the after effects of feminism that has destroyed our society and was set there to destroy our society.
That's it. I got a question of really, advice, and it's something because I just graduated. My son, my little cousin, and my nephew, which are all 18. I've had them myself for several years, and it comes to the point now where they're about to enter college, and my thought process is like, wow, like, is this the right way for them to go? And it's pretty much a decision. At some point, we should be molding them. I feel like I should be molding them to something.
Well, you have to debrief them, brother. Brother, you have to debrief them. That's what a father and a good parent does. That's it. That's it. But then you're all right then. Then they're all right because the debriefing from the time they're in school and you send them to the school, and Malcolm always said this, it is the height of insanity to send your children to be taught by the enemy. If you are not debriefing your child every day that child comes home from school, I don't give a damn if they, whatever it is, I want to see my car. No, you're going to sit down. We're going to turn off everything, the radio, the television, everything. We're shutting everything down, and I'm sitting down at your level as a child. You tell me what you learned. And everything that they learn, you contradict it, and you make sure that that child becomes a antiviral mechanism against the teacher, that he or she aggravates the hell out of the teacher for teaching the bullshit that they've been given to our children. That's when you know that you will have your child after that child comes out of that education system that they have.
Well, I see and feel that and experience that, with them now. And a lot of times I really look and I talk to them, and it seems like they're in a bored state. Now, keep in mind, they're active in a whole lot of things, but when it comes to the schooling, it seems like that they're stuck in this bored state, and they almost looking for something different other than what they're seeing.
As I said, it's a dead-education system, a dead-education system. It kills critical thinking. It kills the incentive of the individual to grow. It just wants to turn our children into consumer automatons. So yes, they're going to be done because the genius of our young children coming back. I mean, you got to remember, these are the ancestors coming back. They know exactly what time it is. You can't fool these children. That's why I don't speak to these young people the way I normally speak to children. No. I know who they are. And if I do not make my child and my student greater than me, then what the hell am I coming back to if I do reincarnate?